So we're here now with Evie Rufalco McNulty, candidate for the Recorder of Deeds office in Lackawanna County. Evie, thanks for being here with us this morning.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So we're going to go through a little bit of your bio, and so we'll start out with your on the Democratic ballot.
Yes.
And you are born and raised in Scranton, graduated from Bishop Klanoski High School, and you're now serving, you are the incumbent, and you are now serving, are you finishing your 4th term then?
Right, my 16th year.
16th year as the Lackawanna County Recorder of Deeds. Some of the professional organizations and civic that you've been involved in, you're the former president and now the permanent secretary to the Pennsylvania Recorder of Deeds Association. You're a member of the Pennsylvania Electronic Recording Commission, and you serve as secretary to the commission. A member of the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission's Local Government Records Committee, and a member of the Property Records Industry Association. And I would probably be remiss if I did not say that you are a founding member of the Society of Irish Women. So we are going to move through a few questions here. So I've read some information from your bio, including your work history and education. So tell me, what differentiates you from your opponent in this race? Why are you the best candidate?
Experience. I think experience speaks for itself. After 16 years in the office, we have taken the office from the time when there were books. We have taken over 4,000 books and digitized over 3 million images, made everything available now free on the internet. We're in the process of doing that with the index books. We've cut the staff by 33% through attrition. We've reduced our budget. All the improvements we've made in our office were all done not through the general fund money. It was all done through a user fee, which is a county records improvement fee set by the legislature, and that money we saved and used that, and that's how we bought the infrastructure to use this new software. We are now electronically recording, which saves the mortgagee the money that they would normally pay for Federal Express, wherever they're going, Quicken Loans. It's not coming from Washington and they're paying money. They're doing it electronically, so it's sent into our office. Within an hour, it's sent back and it's recorded. That's the kind of stuff we had before, that we're moving along with technology. And my involvement in those organizations, as Andrea mentioned, just brings me on the forefront of technology and legislation as it changes and affects our office, your office, the Recorder of Deeds office, and your records. And those records are treated, they're a permanent record, and they need to be treated as a permanent record. And they are vital to the history of this county, this Commonwealth, and this country. And as you can see, that they are protected, and they are treated with utmost priority, and they are available to the public for free.
Okay. So, Evie, I'm going to read a description from the Home Rule Charter of the Recorder of Deeds office, because this is an office that's specified in the Home Rule Charter. The Recorder of Deeds shall retain and exercise those powers granted by general law to Recorder of Deeds in counties whose population is most equal to that of Lackawanna County. He shall have the power to appoint clerks and a solicitor. The Recorder of Deeds shall prepare for inclusion in the administrative code an article setting forth the structure, organization, manner, operational procedures whereby the office of the Recorder of Deeds operates and functions. So this is the description from the charter, which was adopted, of course, in 1976, and it's pretty vague. So I don't know that people really understand what the office is actually responsible for. What are the primary responsibilities of the office? And I mean, you've talked a little bit about how it's changed over the years as well. Do you see any changes, coming up in the future for the office as well?
One change I see that is going to be mandated probably by law would be the redaction would be the removing of Social Security numbers, driver's license numbers from records in the past. Now when a document comes in, we check it for vital information and ask the submitter to block it out. We are not allowed to alter a document. Our office is responsible for recording all deeds, mortgages, releases, satisfactions, subdivision maps, highway maps, veterans discharges, corporate papers, notary public. You're sworn as a notary public, you come into our office. There's a lot more to than it's just not just deeds. There's a lot more vital records that, they're important, and then they're kept in our office. The veterans' discharges are the only records that are not allowed by law unless it is over 75 years that are available online. So that's just the Privacy Act. But what we're doing now is getting all our index information up and current, and then we're going to, but that legislation is out there and could be moving along, that we may be forced to go through, and there's actually, it's called OCR, that they would, the character recognition, that they would actually search our database to find any sort of sequence of records or numbers that would resemble a Social Security or driver's license number, and it would automatically bring it to our attention and we can redact it. Does not affect the document, it just redacts it from you seeing it online. So I think that's, we're pretty ready for that if that happens. So I could just see that that's where we're moving. There's a lot more to do. There's to make it more digitized in the index records, and we're right on the ball with it. And the timing's perfect.
Okay. Evie, this is a two-part question. The first part is, I want you to talk about a problem, and the second part is how you're going to address it. What is the most pressing problem that's facing your office right now?
I know that the commissioners are tough. That we've lost some positions through attrition, as I said, and they were not filling those positions. But really, with automation, it reduces the need for it. So I can't say that there really is any pressing problems that's doing. We're moving smoothly. If it came to the point where the market started going through the ceiling again, and we were like swamped with people remortgaging and purchasing homes, we then may force a little backlog. But they've gone from returning, when I first came into office, documents weren't returned for 7 weeks just because of the procedures then that were not automated. Now they're done within they're returned within 2 or 3 days. I really don't see any problems in our office. We're functioning fine.
Okay. So then, is there anything that's coming up? And I know you talked about legislation driving some of what you have to do. Is there anything that you see in the future with legislation that's going to be an issue for your office? I know you talked about the redacting. Is there anything else that you see coming up in the legislature that might cause an issue for the office?
On Tuesday, I met at the Judicial Center, the AOPC in Harrisburg. I serve on that as the County Records Committee, statewide committee, and there's some talk, and now we're required to protect all our records, and this is a state law. All records are supposed to be copied onto microfilm. Microfilm is in the process of becoming obsolete, the actual reading, the machines of it, and it requires us to make new film every 10 years, stored in the salt mines, just for the protection. We're actually going to move into a new era. The judicial offices are going to do it first, so we're lucky there because they'll be the ones that they're going to, they'll find out from the mistakes, and then we're going to jump onto that. And they're going to start storing the records, if you will, in the great cloud, as everything is a cloud. That was the discussion. It's in discussion. We were meeting again in a few months, and with the Chief Justice Emeritus, and we're working on that, on how the storage of records would be, so that in the case of a catastrophe, it wouldn't be. There wouldn't be a problem here. In my office, it would not be a problem because our records are backed up every 15 minutes and stored in Syracuse. Our financial information and a paper trail, as far as the documentation, is stored in IT, where that's backed up once a week, once a day, once a week, once a month, and up into the 911 center. So, but that's what they're doing. Their big thing now is to, there's nowhere to store it. It's too expensive, and there's just no way to read it. So we're going to move to another form of protecting these vital records that have lifelong retention.
Okay. Evie, as you know, there's a Home Rule Charter Study Commission for Lackawanna County that's seated right now, looking at the charter, which includes the specifications for the Recorder of Deeds office. Can you tell me, how do you feel, should the Recorder of Deeds continue to be an elected position, and why or why not?
I do. Although I do agree with the problem that the cost cutting and efficiency in government is needed, and we need to make some changes. I do believe that the row offices, as I speak the same as the public did, as the voters did in the primary election, that to be maintained as separately elected offices. And there are many responsibilities facing each one of us in the respective offices. And those responsibilities are not just put on us by the county commissioners. They are state responsibilities and federal responsibilities that that go with collecting. And now I, for instance, act as a tax collection agent for the Department of Revenue and disperse probably over $14 million a year to the school districts, the states, and the municipalities. This is not something that can be done and learned and perfected, and you can't come back with an audit finding from the Auditor General or the Controller with no problems, no audit findings if you're not good at it. But you can't, it cannot be something that it changes with every commissioner administration. It's just you don't learn. I mean, experience speaks for itself, and that's why we have the audit records that we have. There's no findings, and there's just an awful lot to learn. There's things you need to know, recording requirements, records disbursements, and there's just too much for one person to be responsible for, to do register of wills, clerk of courts, prothonotary, and recorder of deeds. And they're all, even in the Montemuro report years ago, the recorder of deeds was not considered a court-related office where the other ones were, or the other offices were, so they're under different guidelines. So.
Okay. Evie, as you know, I'm sure, public trust in elected officials has been impacted by recent events in our region. How will you maintain the public's trust if you're reelected to this position?
Just to be, much to my husband's chagrin, I'm pretty open. I say what I feel. There's nothing that's, hidden in my personal life, my private life, or my professional, and certainly not in my office. We run this office with complete transparency, and I don't think there's anybody that can second guess me on that. They just, we follow the law. The law is there for a reason, and we follow it, and that's what it is. And I have a staff that I work with. We are a family, and I will never get too important with them. They will always, we work well together, and it's just, we follow the law. Many times we get people who are not happy with us, who want to keep their records out of the paper. I'm like, the law is the law, and that's what we follow, and that's just what it is. So.
Okay. Evie, that's actually all of the questions that we have for you today. So now you have time for a closing statement. And please feel free to include any other area that we did not cover in our questions.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for the opportunity here to speak with you today. And I just want to reiterate when I said that experience speaks for itself. In the last 16 years, like I have said, we've digitized over 3 million documents, made available now to the public for free. We're continuing that move by doing our index books. We've reduced our staff by 33% through attrition, which ultimately reduces our budget and draw on the county budget. Everything is done by, all improvements have been made, none through the county fund, all the general fund, all through a user's fee. And we continue to make progress. We're setting the example for some other counties, and we've actually had the opportunity to have other counties come in, other recorder of deeds to come in to see how we're doing running our office and see how the operations are going. And if that were not the sign of a well-maintained, a well-operated, and a well-oiled operation, that we would not be the center and the focus of some of the tours that do come in from some of the other offices across the state that want to see how we're doing. And that's when I said when something is running well, there's no need to change. And I honestly believe that I am the best choice for your choice for Recorder of Deeds. I think my record stands for itself. And there's anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome, to ask me. But the experience in that office for the last 16 years it counts for something. And I want to take this opportunity to ask for your vote and appreciate any consideration that you can give me. Thank you again.
Thanks, Evie. That concludes our time with Evie Rafalco McNulty this morning. Evie, again, is a candidate for Lackawanna County Recorder of Deeds on the Democratic ticket. Don't forget to vote on November 5th, and thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
And we're here now with Alicia DeLeo. Alicia is the Republican candidate for Lackawanna County Recorder of Deeds. Alicia, thank you for being here with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're happy to have you here. So we're going to go over just a couple things from your bio to start with so people will know who you are. So you were born in Scranton, raised in Old Forge.
Yes.
And do you live in Old Forge now?
No, I live in Greenridge right now.
You live in Greenridge, okay. But you were graduated from Old Forge High School.
Exactly.
Okay. You have an associate degree in business specializing in paralegal studies.
Yes.
And you work as a paralegal in the field of real estate law at this point.
Yes.
Okay. So the first question that I have for you is, we reviewed some information from your bio, including your work history and education. What differentiates you from your opponent in this race? Why are you the best candidate for this position?
Well, right now I have the education, especially in real estate law. I did have the highest GPA in my real estate law class at McCann School of Business and Technology, and I have the real-world work experience to handle this office as well. And I know what it takes to prepare a deed. I've been to the recorder's office to actually have it recorded. I've handled many documents that go along with real estate law as well.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now is the Recorder of Deeds office is actually specified in the county's Home Rule Charter, okay? So I'm going to read the description that's in the Home Rule Charter. The Recorder of Deeds shall retain and exercise those powers granted by general law to Recorder of Deeds in counties whose population is most equal to that of Lackawanna County. He shall have the power to appoint clerks and a solicitor, and the Recorder of Deeds shall prepare for inclusion in the administrative code an article setting forth the structure, organization, manner, operational procedures whereby the office of the Recorder of Deeds operates and functions. So this is the description from our Home Rule Charter, which was adopted in 1976, and it's pretty vague. So for everyone here who perhaps doesn't understand what the office is responsible for, what do you see as the primary responsibilities of the office?
Well, from what I've read online and from my experience personally with people I've spoken to, the primary responsibility is to protect the homeowner's rights of not only their home, but their property and land. And I think that is a major function of that office. People I've spoken to have lost portions of their land over the last few years because they haven't been protected by the Recorder of Deeds office. Another couple I've met from Scott Township tried to combine their deeds into one so they could have one property listed. Now they're paying two sewer bills because it was never actually recorded, even though they have the receipt from the recorder's office saying that it was. So I don't see the properties being protected by the current staff.
Okay. Do you see any changes coming in the future for the responsibilities of this office?
I think the responsibilities are good. I'm just not sure if they're managed properly at the moment. That is something I look forward to implementing if I am elected as Recorder of Deeds.
Okay. So this next question is a two-part question. The first part is I want you to identify a specific problem, and then secondly talk about how you would resolve that problem. So what do you feel is the most pressing problem that's facing the office right now?
The last few days I've spoken to people, and it's time management. One person had to wait an extra 5 months just to close on their house because the Recorder of Deeds office was backed up. Another friend that I spoke to last night, it took him 2.5 months to receive his deed after they had dropped it off to be recorded. That's not efficient. It's not something that it should be done faster in a better and efficient manner, and that's what I look forward to doing.
So what unique or innovative idea do you have that would address this particular problem?
I've been in management when I was younger. I know how to do time management. I'm very good at multitasking. I plan on being a full-time recorder of deeds in the office every day, working side by side with the office staff and picking up the slack if I can, where they're too busy to do something. I'll do it.
Okay. As you know, we have a Home Rule Charter Study Commission that's seated right now looking at Lackawanna County's Home Rule Charter, which includes the specifications for this particular office. Should the Recorder of Deeds continue to be an elected position, and why do you feel that way?
Well, I'm not sure how they would feel about changing how the offices would be consolidated unless we can find out what the specifics are. I can't agree to say that it should be consolidated. I think right now it needs to be managed a little bit more efficiently, and time management especially.
Okay. Alicia, as I'm sure you know, public trust in elected officials has been impacted by recent events in our region. How will you maintain the public's trust if you're elected to this office?
If I'm given a job to do, I'll make sure I do it. I have a lot of trust in other people, and I know that they have trust in me. I promise to be there and show them that they could trust me. If they have a question, they can call me directly, email me, however they want to do. I promise to be there to show them that they could trust me.
Okay. Alicia, that's actually all of the questions that we have for you today. So you have time now for a closing statement, and please feel free to include any other area that we didn't cover that you want the voters to know about.
Okay. I've been a long-time resident of Lackawanna County, lifelong. The primary responsibility of the Recorder of Deeds office is to protect the people's rights and their properties. I will ensure that the documents that are recorded through the system are currently available online. They are not right now, all of them. I will ensure that by doing this, I can ensure that Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
By doing so, I can ensure that you would be able to view your documents and print them for free online. If you do not know how to use the IQS system, I will be happy to educate the residents of Lackawanna County on how to do this. And not only will it make the office more efficient, but people that cannot get to the office during the normal business hours will be able to go online and view their documents and get any necessary documents they need to proceed in any type of business that they're doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That concludes our time with Alicia DeLeo today. Alicia is the Republican candidate for the Recorder of Deeds office for Lackawanna County. So don't forget to get out and vote on November 5th. And Alicia, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate your being here with us.
Thank you very much again for having me.